Hey there. Can you, so thanks for coming in today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. It's a little rainy, but I grew up in England, so it's the rain I'm used to. um, so, can you tell me a little bit about why you're here today? Because this is our first session, so I just kind of want to get an understanding.
Well, I've been experiencing some anxiety. Like, I'm in school right now, and I'm not getting much help. So, and then they have this lockdown situation going on. And so my two kids are at home, and I have to be at home with my two kids. I'm doing school and they're doing school, and it's just a whole lot of stress. And I'm just like having a lot of anxiety. I can't sleep. No support,
Okay. So it sounds to me like you're feeling pretty overwhelmed with what's happening right now. I mean, there's a pandemic, so that's going to be a lot on you, a lot of change. It sounds like you're not getting the support that you're looking for. Is that correct?
Right?
Okay. And you mentioned that there's some anxious feelings that are coming up
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
How does that show up for you, the anxiety?
It just shows up when I have a lot on my plate. I have to be managing everything on my own.
Right. So, because of what you mentioned before, it sounds like it's sort of bringing up these feelings that you've had before. Would you say that you've had anxious feelings before, or is this like a first time for you feeling this way?
Well, I never really thought about it before, because, now it's just, I'm at home more, and then the kids are home more, and then then I have like these classes, online classes, because we can't go in on campus, and it kind of makes it harder.
Okay.
Because like the school kids are home, and how could I do my assignments? Like, how could I do these tests and these quizzes with like the kids being home? And
I can see that being really hard, having that change. So it sounds like you're saying that since the pandemic, things have gotten a lot progressively more difficult, especially with having people around. Could you talk to me a little bit about your schooling? Like, how's that been going since the pandemic?
Not good.
Okay. So you're saying it's not good. So before was it going a lot better than before the pandemic, or?
Well, yeah, it was. It was much easier.
Okay.
Like, I had more time on my hand because the kids were at school, and I would go to campus, and then I'll have like some time off to myself. But now it's like the kids are home, and you already know how kids are.
Yeah, I know they can be a handful.
Ears.
So, sounds like ever since the pandemic happened, your routine has changed a little bit, and it's become more stressful since the kids have been. You have to juggle being a mother and also a student.
Right.
Right. I can see that being really tough, having to do those two roles now. Well, you always were a mother, but having to deal with that a little bit more on your plate.
Yeah.
Right. So, can you talk to me a little bit about these feelings that you said you've been having, the anxious feelings? Like, when does that show up for you?
When I have to be doing these quizzes, like, and the kids are home screaming, like, and on top of it, it's not like I get that much time to do the quizzes.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't get that much time. It's just very short, and like that makes I'm failing it. It's not like it makes me look like I don't even know the work, but I know it, and I'm failing it. And then you talk to the profs, they don't really care. You're just a number.
Right.
Yeah.
So how would you say that those thoughts come up for you when you feel those feelings that you're having?
Mad anxiety. Like I'm paying for school and I'm just getting a lot of anxiety off of it. Like I'm failing it.
Is there anything that you tell yourself at that time, or anything that comes up, or is it mainly like feelings that you have in your body?
Yeah, I feel like a failure.
Okay. So that's usually what comes up. You're feeling like you're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and these feelings and these thoughts started happening right when the pandemic hit, when things started to change for you?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
like before the daycares were open, right?
Right.
Now, I don't have that. I don't have that resource or that accessibility at my hands. So it just caused a lot of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just, and then it's even more anxiety because I have to worry about the money aspect of it. It's
Okay.
not like I have anybody paying for my tuition.
Right.
I'm paying for it, so that's a lot of anxiety.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like there's also the pressure of the finances on the family that's also weighing you down a little bit as well.
Right.
Yeah. Not only the schooling pressure and your children, also the finances. So you have a couple of things going on here, which sounds like it could be a lot of stress for you,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense why you're feeling this way. So I'm glad that you came here today, because I'd really like to talk to you about a couple of things that you could do to manage these feelings that you're having and also these thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So you said that the feelings come from your thoughts about how you're a failure.
Mm-hmm.
In your words, you said you weren't not feeling like you're successful. Can I just ask you like how it was before the pandemic? You said school was going okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, I was passing. I had, as I said, I had a lot of flexibility.
right.
Right? There was more flexibility. But even then, I was still, there was still a challenge. But like overall, just being a parent is a challenge in itself.
Absolutely.
But like the pandemic just made it like, I wouldn't even say double as hard. That's like quadruple.
Right. I'd like to talk to you about something in CBT that we call like putting your thoughts to trial. I kind of want to get to the root of what you're feeling here and what might be triggering or bringing up these feelings of anxiety for you. Is that okay if we kind of go through that together right now?
Sure.
Okay. So it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to make a list. And on one side, it's like what supports this thought of, if you think that you're not being successful. So what supports you being not successful? And then what supports you being successful? So you already said that the first thought that means that you're not successful is that you're not able to complete the tests as well. So you're not performing as well at school. Is there anything else that makes you feel like you're not being successful right now?
Regarding, well, I can tell you a lot of things that's making me not feel successful, but as
Okay.
it,
That's good enough. Like that first thing that you mentioned about not performing at school. Let's move on to what evidence that shows that you have been successful in the past. So,
just my success in school in the past.
right. So
Right.
you shows that you were a good student
Yeah.
before the pandemic, which is great. I mean, without all the life stresses going on, that shows that you can perform. It makes sense why things are a little bit more difficult right now. Is there something else that, so you mentioned that, you have a good relationship with your children and things were good, like you were able to sort of juggle that routine of picking them up from school. So would you say that you had a good relationship there?
Well, yeah, my kids don't hate me.
Okay, that's something that's successful there. So, you have a good family life. So you're successful with your children, with your relationship with your children. Can we think of anything else that supports that you were successful before the pandemic? Before these feelings started happening?